A lawsuit is filed against a landfill in Estill County. The judge executive says the end result could be a judgment worth millions of dollars.
Family finally feels like they're getting some justice almost 2 years after a University of Cincinnati professor is killed.
A night out turns dramatic for one Kentucky couple after they caught a burglar in their home.
WKYT News starts now with breaking news.
Good evening to you. We are continuing to track a breaking international news story out of Turkey as reports come in of a military coup in the country's capital.
And there are now reports that the Turkish military says they have fully seized control of the country. Andrea Walker is at the alert desk with the very latest. Andrea?
Just moments ago, Secretary of State John Kerry says he hopes for stability, peace, and continuity in Turkey as a coup is apparently underway. While the entire country is impacted, the capital Ankara and the nation's largest city, Istanbul, are the focal points. A Turkish news agency has published a statement from the military saying the armed forces have fully seized control of the country. The Dogan agency reported that the statement said that the military did this to, quote, reinstall the constitutional order. The military statement went on to say that all international agreements and commitments will remain, and it pledged that good relations with all world countries will continue. Earlier, military jets were heard flying over the capital, Ankara. Media reports said ambulances were seen in front of Turkey's military headquarters. And the nation's busiest airport, which is always one of Europe's busiest, is closed with tanks blocking the entrance. Russia's foreign minister is advising his countrymen in Turkey to stay inside amid coup uncertainty. At the alert desk, Andrea Walker, WKYT.
Andrea, thank you. We'll have updates on WKYT.com, and Scott Pelley will have the very latest on the CBS Evening News coming up at 6:30. Officials in Estill County are suing a local landfill along with some other companies after levels of radioactive materials were illegally dumped there.
County officials say they only learned of the disposal months after it happened. WKYT's Phil Pendleton has more on what the judge executive would like to receive in the lawsuit in our top story at 5:30.
The lawsuit against 4 companies and 1 individual is based on the allegation that the county's solid waste ordinance was violated 47 times between July and November 2015.
You had no right to bring it into our community.
Judge Executive Wallace Taylor is talking about low levels of radioactive material the state confirms was dumped into the Blue Ridge landfill.
We were under the impression at that time it was 1 truckload. And then now we're at 2,000 tons that's come in.
The filing of the lawsuit comes on the same day that Kentucky's Attorney General Andy Beshear says an exhaustive 4-month investigation into the landfill does not show any criminal activity. However, he does say he does believe that civil law was violated. State officials say the waste is actually sludge from oil and gas wells. It came from West Virginia. Illinois is the only state allowed to dump radioactive waste in Kentucky.
You know, there's a lot of community outrage over this.
Taylor says he wants a new host agreement with the landfill. Tom Bonney is with a group called Concerned Citizens of Estill County, and he says the landfill needs to be punished.
They've lost the trust of the people of Estill County, and I think from this point on, the fiscal court is probably going to be very observant of what's brought in there.
Taylor would not give an exact monetary figure, but says the judgment will likely be in the millions. In Estill County, Phil Pendleton, WKYT.
The judge executive says he wants a new monitoring system so the county can witness each truck that goes into the landfill. The attorneys for the landfill did reach out to us, but said they would wait until they comment until after they have reviewed the lawsuits.
2 men charged in the death of a University of Cincinnati professor today entered guilty pleas in that case. 39-year-old Kevin Howard pled guilty to manslaughter and tampering with physical evidence. 52-year-old Charles Black pled guilty to evidence tampering and facilitation of robbery. As Caitlin Sentner reports, the victim's family is glad to be getting some justice.
It's almost been 2 years since University of Cincinnati professor Randall Russ was murdered.
I feel like they're not walking out the doors, so I'm okay.
Family holding each other tight as the 2 men accused in the murder entered pleas Friday. When arrests were originally made, both men were charged in the murder of Randall Russ, and today neither of those men would plead guilty to murder. Charles Black pleaded guilty to 2 counts of tampering and facilitation with robbery. He says he was at his cousin's house next door when Russ was killed.
I was gone for like an hour, and then Kevin hollered for me, and then I came back down to the house, and I seen Mr. Russ was laying on the carpet, and I was scared, and I helped him load his body up in the back of his car.
Howard's plea followed, but he didn't talk on his role. He pleaded guilty to a lesser charge, manslaughter, and 2 counts of tampering with evidence.
I'm just glad that we're getting justice, what deserves, because he's not here today, and I'm just glad that it's being handled and justice is being done for my brother. If every last breath in me, I will make sure, be it the parole hearings, to make sure that they stay where they need to be.
Both men are set for sentencing in September. In Fleming County, Caitlin Setner, WKYT.
Black and Howard are scheduled for sentencing September 2nd at 11.
One person is dead after a fire broke out in a home overnight. Our county-by-county coverage at 5:30 begins in Harlan County. It happened on Old Highway 119 in the Blair community just outside Cumberland. Neighbors told first responders that one person was still inside when they arrived. The home was connected to a larger house where the victim's family lived. Officials say at this time they don't suspect foul play. They have not yet released the victim's name. And in Barron County, a man has been arrested after his pickup crashed into an Amish buggy. Police say 28-year-old Matthew Stout of Glasgow was driving drunk when he crashed into the buggy, throwing Ira and Laura Borntrager from it. Ira Borntrager was taken to U of L Hospital, where he is listed in critical condition. Police say Stout admitted to drinking prior to the accident, and deputies found an open beer inside his truck.
An evening out turned dramatic for a Meade County couple when they returned home to discover a burglar in their house. WKYT Sabira Rayford reports in a story that's new at 5:30.
It just happened, and I knew I was going to protect my family and home as much as I could, and I had the means with me to do it. So.
Ron Shutfield and his wife Betty were out last Friday when police say 29-year-old Mark Jones broke into their home. The couple's security camera caught it all as Jones rummaged through the house with a trash bag and a large pellet gun. When the family dog Shadow wouldn't stop barking, Jones shot Shadow, who keeps barking. The video then shows Jones rummaging through the house, taking 4 antique pistols, a crossbow, and a knife. He then throws the knife at the barking dog. Then, when Shadow continues to bark, Jones then shoots the dog with one of the stolen pistols, leaving him motionless but alive.
Well, when I pulled in the driveway and saw that the main door was open, the storm door was closed, that shouldn't have been that way.
Shutfield entered the home with his gun drawn and came face to face with Jones, who had a machete in hand.
He hesitated for a second, and I told him, "Go down or you're dead." And he started to, all right.
Calling 911, Shutfield holds Jones until police arrive.
Your security is all gone, and you just don't feel secure in your own house.
Then another blow 5 days later.
When I was shocked when the police called and said that he had been released on bond for $1,000.
It's just like a slap on the wrist.
Sabira Rayford, WKYT.
Jones is charged with burglary first, theft by unlawful taking, receiving stolen property, and animal cruelty.
After a relatively dry break, another line of storms are heading through the bluegrass. We want to check in now with WKYT Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey.
Yeah, a lot of thunderstorms diving in from northwest to southeast. A lot of lightning, a lot of heavy rain. Yes, we've talked about this many times before over the past several weeks. Same old, same old. This line is broken, but individual thunderstorms can put down some local wind damage. Seeing a great concentration of lightning now to the north of Frankfort, toward the Williamstown area, parts of Owenton into Owen County, and that is slowly again sinking toward the south and southeast. So Sadieville into Cynthiana, look to that north and that northern skyline, and you are noticing now skies are darkening and you're likely seeing some flashes of lightning. Same for the folks into Frankfort. Back over toward the Louisville area, additional thunderstorms are packing lot of heavy rain. That's a very intense thunderstorm that is getting ready to cross out of southern parts of Indiana to the northwest of E-Town. Flash flood warnings out for areas west of Owensboro and Henderson. And again, any thunderstorm that is out there this evening can put down some very heavy rains and pack a whole lot of lightning with it. We put Defender into motion, and you can see how the individual thunderstorms are going southwest northeast, but the whole line itself is dropping toward the south and the southeast. So over the next 1 to 2 hours into parts of the bluegrass region, those thunderstorms will come calling. So folks who are getting ready to head out and about for an evening on the town, just be forewarned that you have the potential for a thunderstorm or two within the next couple of hours. We'll continue to track those when I come back in a few minutes.
Louisville officials released new information on planned bridge tolls. That story in 6 minutes on WKYT.
I'm Bill Bryant. Donald Trump makes his vice presidential choice official. Some key Kentucky Republicans won't be at next week's convention, but a state senator gets a major role. The bottom line is ahead.
Donald Trump makes it official.
And a Kentucky state senator is heading to Cleveland. Bill Bryant has the details in the bottom line.
Good evening. As Republicans get ready for their national convention, we're learning that some key Kentucky Republicans won't be going. That includes U.S. Senator Rand Paul, who ran for president himself and had some tense exchanges with Donald Trump during the early debates. Paul says he will be busy with his re-election effort here in Kentucky with some town hall meetings. He is also an ophthalmologist who will be performing some eye surgeries during the Senate's summer recess. Earlier, Agriculture Commissioner Ryan Quarles told me that he won't be at the convention either. Quarles, considered to be a rising star among many Kentucky Republicans, says other events will keep him busy at home. One who will be there and in a visible role is State Senator Ralph Alvarado of Winchester. The physician will address the national convention on Wednesday evening in prime time at about 9 o'clock. UK political science professor Stephen Voss says both parties have their work cut out for them in controlling what voters take away from the conventions. What will you watch for in the conventions the next couple of weeks?
Well, the big challenge are those protests, as I said. What goes on inside the halls is usually pretty scripted, and I'm not sure that we should expect to see a much break from the script. But how do they handle the protests outside? You know, can the city keep order? What is the party's relationship to the disorder outside?
Now, you can hear from Voss and from former Lexington Police Chief Anthony Beatty on his perspective about police and community relations on Kentucky Newsmakers. It airs in its entirety Sunday morning at 6 on WKYT. It repeats Sunday at 10 a.m. on the CW Lexington. Set your DVR or catch it then. Donald Trump made it official today and chose Indiana Governor Mike Pence as his running mate. Trump pushed back a public announcement after the terror attack in France. He will hold an event with Pence tomorrow morning at 11. Democrat Hillary Clinton will break with tradition and give a high-profile speech Monday in Cincinnati. Usually, an opposing campaign stays out of the spotlight during the competing parties' convention. Clinton is also expected to name her running mate right after the Republican convention is over in Cleveland. CBS News will have the latest on the attack in France and from the campaign trail here in the U.S. That's coming up at 6:30. Bill Bryant, WKYT.
If you often drive across the Ohio River from Louisville, you could soon be paying to do so. City officials have released more information on planned bridge tolls.
The tolls won't begin until December on 2 downtown bridges and a new East End bridge, but drivers can start setting up prepaid accounts next week. River Link toll accounts require a $20 minimum balance and a free transponder sticker. If you don't want to set up an account, it will cost you more to cross the bridges. Accounts can be set up at customer service centers in Louisville and Jeffersonville, Indiana, or at riverlink.com.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey.
Starting to see a threatening sky showing up across northern and western parts of the area. A line of thunderstorms diving back into town. That is how we are kicking off what will be a better weekend. Just a little noise, though, to get there. Live sky cams from across the Bluegrass State picking up on a little bit of cloud cover showing up north of Lexington. You can see the tops of some of those thunderstorms to our northwest. Thunderstorms near Louisville. We'll get close to the Frankfort area shortly, and a storm just blew through Florence into northern Kentucky over the past
30 minutes or so. This is not a line of true severe thunderstorms, packing a lot of lightning, some local wind gusts, and a lot of heavy rain as well. Those thunderstorms here around Williamstown, Dry Ridge, back into Owen County, dropping into northern parts of Scott County. Folks here into the Cynthiana area along Highway 356, 25 here in the northern parts of Scott County. Thunder and lightning rolling on into town, and northern sections of Franklin County will get in on the act as well. That extends a little farther to the west across Louisville, and then southwest from there on top of Owensboro, Henderson, Evansville, where we've got some flash flood warnings that are out. That line of thunderstorms right on top of the region and just ahead of a cold front. Better weather is coming in behind that front as we go into the day tomorrow. Mid-80s, slight chance for a shower or thunderstorm as we go into the southern half of the area, especially through the first part of the day. 3-day threat track again. Storm or two in the south tomorrow. Better on Sunday, steamy Monday, but it's a mainly dry day until evening when some thunderstorms will likely crash in from northwest to southeast. Let's walk you into the weekend, hour by hour forecast. Out and about this evening, watch over the next 1 to 2 hours for the potential, central Kentucky especially, for some thunderstorms to get in here. You're going to wake up tomorrow morning. You may have some overcast skies, kind of gloomy into the southern parts of the area. Just hang tough into the late afternoon and evening. Brightening skies in southern Kentucky will still have a shot for a shower or thunderstorm through the better part of the afternoon. Better weather for a Saturday evening, and look at your Sunday morning. Low 60s. Mid to upper 80s Sunday afternoon. Little cloud cover tries to increase, but overall can't ask for a whole lot better for the middle of July. Monday's forecast will steam it up. We may hit 90, if not low 90s, with some late day thunderstorms that will dive in, and that will be ahead of another front that, as soon as we try to make a run at 90, knocks the temperatures back down a little bit. Then we try to make a run toward 90 again a few days after that. We talked about how we thought that would be the trend of the summer. That has been the trend of the summer. Every time we make a run at 90, cold front gives us thunderstorms that will knock the heat down a little bit.
We're over here cheering on your weekend forecast.
Are you?
Yes.
I thought I was
Round of
hearing that in
applause.
the background over here. Huh?
We finally have something to cheer about.
That's right.
Good.
Yep.
Thanks, Chris.
Now we're dealing with stalled car. The crossover that is having impact for Harrodsburg Road at the Circle. A couple of collisions. One's at Lansdowne and Greenlawn, another one on DeLong Road, that one just down from Richmond Road. Drive times holding our own to Versailles, 12 minutes. Terrace is going to take about 24, and 26 minutes to Richmond. Now back to you in the studio.
Up next, the latest on Patriots quarterback Tom Brady.
Yesterday, a court ruling against Brady. Today, he made a decision on fighting his 4-game suspension. And the SEC always has top-notch running backs. This fall, Leonard Fournette again setting his sights on the Heisman. Sports is next. Thursday, Boom Williams was named to the watch list for the Doak Walker Award. Today, he was named third-team All-SEC at SEC Media Days. Boom is the only Kentucky player recognized on any of the preseason teams at Media Days, offense, defense, or special teams. Boom ran for 855 yards in 10 games last season for the Cats. The Southeastern Conference just might produce the Heisman Trophy winner again this season. Last year it was Alabama's Derrick Henry. This time it could be LSU's Leonard Fournette, who was the front runner until the Tigers ran into the Crimson Tide last season. Dick Gabriel has more from Birmingham.
Fournette was in the fast lane to the 2015 Heisman until he and the Tigers faltered midway through the season. But he says he's ready to carry the load again on the Bayou.
At the end of the day, you know, we're a team, and I don't mind if anybody put the pressure on me because I can handle it at the end of the day. So it's football, you know. It's not perfect. They're gonna have your ups and downs in that. So you just have to keep moving.
After you're a great running back, you're pretty much a great running back. I don't know how much better that great run can be, but I think you'll be a more well-rounded back. Every team in the country would love to have a Leonard Fournette, a tailback. Les Miles told us almost as challenging as creating a game plan is learning how to turn away all the interview requests for the Heisman Trophy candidate. And then you just asked the question to me, you know, did we learn anything? Yeah, we learned no. Well, that's a really good answer. For an opposing player, he is one of the most popular in the league, and he's okay with that.
It's just fun. You know, and I'm a likable guy. You know, I have to me, I think I'm cute. I don't know about y'all, but I'm cute to myself. So I just been enjoying it, that's all.
In Birmingham, Dick Gabriel, WKYT.
The KU Colonels picked to finish second in the OVC in a poll of media members. Jacksonville State, a unanimous pick to win the conference. The Colonels second, followed by Eastern Illinois, UT Martin, and Southeast Missouri. Eastern will open the season September 3rd up at Purdue. And Patriots quarterback Tom Brady says he will stop fighting his suspension for Deflategate and will miss the first 4 games of the upcoming season. Jimmy Garoppolo is expected to start for New England in the September 11th season opener against Arizona. The next 3 games are against Miami, Houston, and Buffalo. He would return for a game against Cleveland. In the next half hour, we'll hear from Gary Danielson of CBS as he talks UK and the SEC. Stay with us.